Okay, before we get started in today's lesson, let's go over a question real quick. Let's say I have something like this to the power of -2. Before I start, can we simplify 4 over 8, guys? Let's not do that. What can I put there? Exactly, 1/2. All right, so what you can do first, you can go ahead and put this -2 to everything. So this is 1 to the -2, x to the, what's -4 times -2? 8. This will be y to the -4. This also needs to come down here. This will be 2 to the -2, x to the what? -6. Good. Y to the what? 8. -2 times -4 is 8. All right, so we took care of that -2. Now, we need to do the negative exponent rule. Anything that has a negative exponent, you need to change its location. This will now be down here. It's a positive exponent now. This will now be up here. It's a positive exponent now. This can stay where it is because it's a +8. However, this needs to change its location. Now it's a positive exponent. This will need to come down because it had a negative exponent. This, where will it go? It'll stay at the bottom. All right, now let's simplify. What's 2 squared? 4. 1 squared, that's just 1. Okay, my x's. What do I do to my x's? Add them. So 8 plus 6, what do we get? Very good. And then my y's, what will I get? Perfect. That's my answer. Now, try your quiz question. Try to fix it. Ready? Go. Then I want you to return it to me at my desk. We're going into long division. So before we do long division with polynomials, we're going to take it back to what you did in elementary school. You guys did 305 divided by 2. And the way you did this back in elementary school, you asked yourself 2 times what number will get you either 3 or close to 3. And what is that? Exactly. I'm going to put a 1 up here. Now we're going to multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. What do you do after this step? You subtract. I'm going to call this step changing the sign. Okay? Subtraction, change the sign. So 3 minus 2 is 1. We're going to bring down the next number. 2 times what will get you 10 or at least close to it? 5. So I'm going to put a 5 up here. Now we multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. What do I do? Subtract. I'm going to call that changing the sign. All right, bring down the next number. 2 times what will get you close to 5? 2. So 2 times 2, we get 4. We subtract, we get 1. Or we change the sign and we get 1. Okay, that means your answer, we don't have any more numbers to bring down, so we're done. Your answer is 152 and 1 over 2, a half. So you can think of this as $305 divided by 2 people is $152.50 and a half. Make sense, guys? We're going to use the same elementary concept when we're going to divide polynomials. So this is the first example. Okay? I'm going to set it up the same way. R cubed minus 4r squared minus 26r minus 15 divided by r plus 3. We're going to ask the same type of question. R times what will give you r cubed? R squared. Now, in the same way, we're going to multiply. So, r times r squared is r cubed. 3 times r squared is 3r squared. These are positives. The next step is change the signs. These cancel out. R cubed minus R cubed is just 0. -4 minus 3 is -7. R squared. That was one cycle. Bring down the next item. We start again. Ask yourself, R times what will give you -7R squared? Exactly. So that's what you write at the top, -7R. Okay, now we just multiply. R times -7R is -7R squared. 3 times -7 is -21R. After this step, you must change the signs. Now they're both positive. Those canceled out. -26 plus 21 is -5R. Bring down the next item. And we'll start the cycle again. Ask yourself, R times what is -5R? -5. Now we multiply. Okay, R times -5 is -5R. 3 times -5 is -15. After this step, what do? Change the sign. Those canceled, those canceled. I have no remainder. This is my remainder. I don't have a remainder for this example. So, no remainder. That means my answer is just right here. This is my answer. R squared minus 7R minus 5. Okay, do you guys remember back from elementary school, how do you check your answer? Multiply. Exactly, you multiply. So guys, my answer was R squared minus 7R minus 5. If you multiply it by this, multiply it by R plus 3, go ahead and multiply it. You should get, let me highlight it for you. Once you multiply this out, you should get this part. If you don't get that, that means we did it wrong. Okay. So K times K squared will give me this K cubed. So we're going to multiply. This is K cubed. Multiply. This is negative K squared. Now you just change the sign. Those will cancel out. -8 plus 1, that's -7. And you just bring down the next item. Okay, now we have to ask, K times what will give you -7K squared? -7 and a K, -7K. Now we're going to multiply. So I'm going to get K times -7K is -7K squared. -1 times -7 will be a +7 and a K. Now change the signs. Those cancel. This is -10K. Bring down this next item. K times a -10 will give you this -10K. -1 times -10 is a +10. Now you change the sign. That cancels. So now you have -2 as your remainder. This is your remainder. So the way you write it, your answer is K squared minus 7K minus 10. And your remainder is a -2. And that should be over what you divided by. which was k minus 1. I ran out of space. Let me write it perfectly. Minus 10 minus 2 over k minus 1. Guys, your remainder is negative. That's why I put a minus sign, since your remainder is negative 2. You might also see people write it like this. Some people might write it like this. They'll just put negative 2, but they'll add. Okay, your remainder is negative 2. Okay, now let's move on to some examples where you're missing a term. So guys, go ahead and flip over in your notes. We're going to do a problem where you're missing a term. So guys, notice on this one, which term are we missing? The W, the linear term. We go from cubic, quadratic, we're skipping linear, and we're at the constant. So whenever you are missing a term, you're just gonna, I'll show you what you're gonna do. Go ahead and set this up like so. Minus 27w squared. And where we are missing a term, just put plus 0w. That's our missing term there. Minus 6. And it's being divided by 4w minus 3. And you go through the process just like you have been doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and start multiplying. 4 times what is 36? 9. And I have 1w, but I need 3. So what should I multiply by? Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and multiply. So I already know that this one is 36w cubed. Negative 3 times 9 is negative 27w squared. After this, what do we do, guys? Exactly, change the sign. So this will become negative, this will become positive. And wow, all of those canceled out. Guys, this is just 0. So I'm not even worried about that. Bring down the next item, negative 6. That's our remainder, isn't it? Okay, because 4w times something will not give you negative 6. Okay, so that's our remainder. We're done. So your answer is 9w squared, and your remainder is 6 over what we divided by, 4w minus 3. This is your answer. This part is your remainder. This part is your quotient. Okay, let's try another one so this can sink in. Here's another one. Which term are you missing here? Exactly, you're missing the cubic term. So this is how we're going to set it up. Actually, you guys try it. I'm going to pause here. Try it on your own. Uh-oh. Already, guys, what did I forget to do?
Minus the 0.
Yes, exactly. We're missing the cube term. So I'm going to put a 0 right there. And then just copy down the rest. Okay, so guys, if you got this one, great, you can move on. If not, just look up here. If you multiply this, I'll get 3a to the 4th power. 2 times 3, that's 6. And I get a cubed. From here, what'd y'all do? Change the signs. All right, so this is negative 6a cubed. Bring down the next item. All right, so we have to ask ourselves, a times what will give you negative 6a cubed? Perfect, negative 6a squared. And now we just repeat the process. We multiply and then subtract. So if we multiply this, A times that, we'll get the exact same thing. 2 times -6, that's -12a squared. Change the signs. That cancels. So -20 plus 12, that's -8. Bring down the next thing. Okay, now we need, what'd you guys put? A times what is -8a? Exactly, -8a. All right, so now we start multiplying again. So this times that, you're going to get the exact same thing as what's above it. And then 2 times -8, that's -16a. Change the signs, and that always cancels. So this is now 10a. Bring down the 14. Okay, and what'd you guys put? A times what will give you 10a? Good, 10. And we multiply, so 10 times a, that's 10a. 2 times 10 is 20, and you change the signs. That cancels out. 14 minus 20 is -6. Did you guys get that? Perfect. So your final answer is everything up here. You get 3a cubed minus 6a squared minus 8a plus 10, and your remainder is -6 over a plus 2. That's your answer.